Well, I wake up from my colonoscopy yesterday afternoon, and the first thing I find out is Kalen DeBoer's got a new contract and a pay raise. I'm thinking, am I dreaming? Am I really awake? Is the procedure taking place yet? Gotta say, I'm a little surprised.
Good morning to you, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
Got some coffee today.
That's the best opening statement we've had in 417 episodes. John with a colonoscopy and Kalen DeBoer with a new contract. Both of them, man, you get to the bottom of things, I'm telling you.
You know, you root around a little bit, Barry, to find out all the details, and maybe you think a little differently.
Yeah, now that we got that behind us,
flush
we can
that
move
out.
on with the show. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. We are Longshore and McKnight, and this is episode 417, which the title of it is Scotty Doesn't Know, which was a great tune from Old School, a cameo from Matt Damon out in the backyard of the big birthday party with Snoop Dogg. But here and forevermore, I suspect this episode down through the years will be known as the Kalen DeBoer contract episode, because that will probably dominate the well, at the expense of Nate Oates.
Suggestion, though, real quick, Barry.
Yeah.
Maybe Gurn can put this on the topic wheel. I've never heard of this song, know nothing about it, but if he could find a clip of it and we could play it during the topic wheel, because usually our episodes are named after a group, a song title, an artist. Some of them I'm not familiar with, so that might be a nice addition to the topic wheel, because I'd like to see, what is this again? Scotty don't know?
Scotty doesn't know.
Okay.
Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't. It's good.
It's
good. I liked it. Matt Damon with his head shaved in a big party in the back with Will.
Is it as good as gin and juice?
It is not. It is not. Very little is as good as gin and juice.
All right.
At the expense, and John is very sensitive to people's feelings. The other day, it bugged him that it might be hurtful to Kalen DeBoer to have Morgan Wallen escort Nick Saban out onto the stage at the Morgan Wallen concert instead of Kalen DeBoer.
I think he's worried about it today.
I feel like the entire college sports world is totally going to gloss over the fact that Alabama men's basketball coach Nate Oates has been extended through the 2032 season.
Yeah.
Contracts were approved yesterday. It was party day with the Alabama Board of Trustees. Nate Oates is now one of the 5 highest paid coaches in college basketball at the age of 51. He is set to make, on average, over $7.25 million annually over the course of the agreement. And that may be all we talk about Nate Oates, because I suspect 2 things. Number one, as much as he does, as much as he's accomplished and everything, it is still just basketball. And number 2, I think the universal thing is that, hey, if anybody kind of deserves that money, Nate Oates deserves that money.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to hear any discussion one way or the other. I mean, they're playing a basketball coach that much money. Hey, that's market value. That's what they're going for today. Same thing with DeBoer. I mean, it's market value. That's what you're paying. If you don't want to play this game, get out, go do something else. I'm glad to see they've locked Nate Oates up. I mean, I think that he certainly has shown he can keep Alabama basketball relevant year after year after year, take him to the tournament, Sweet 16, maybe a grade 8 Final Four. Obviously, his goal is a national championship. I know one of his top assistants also got a nice bump as well. And there were others. It wasn't just those 2. They've got a list of guys, one guy in particular that I thought was very important that they bump his salary and keep him around a little longer. But don't have a problem with Nate Oates. And, you know, I guess in the grand scheme of things, Barry, I really don't have a problem with what they've done with Oates. I mean, with DeBoer. I mean, basically, He had 5 years left on his deal, and they've added 2 more to it, actually. Now, the wording makes you think that, oh, they gave him a 7-year extension. Well, not so much. His contract ran through 31. Now it runs through 33.
33, yep.
The last year of his contract, he was making like 11.7. He'll be making 12.5 every year over this one until they bump it up or keep it the same, depending on his one-loss record.
Yeah.
Basically, from his last year to his new first year, which I guess will be 32, he's made about a $750,000 raise from what he would have been making to what he's going to be making now. So,
right. Yeah.
What I find really interesting, though, Barry, we knew weeks ago that the Board of Trustees, the competition committee, was going to be getting together yesterday to approve or not contracts for a lot of us. Jeff Allen, who's been on this staff forever, since Saban got there, several others. There was about 10 of them that were listed that were up for pay raises, contract extensions. Kalen DeBoer was not on that list. It was released at 3:15 yesterday afternoon and approved at 3:30. Why did they not put Kalen DeBoer's name on that list 3 weeks ago?
Probably would have gotten maybe some negative press, probably would have gotten some negative reaction. That's what I saw a pretty good bit of yesterday about the whole thing, and most of it has to center around John is absolutely right. He's dead on with the business representation of what it is. It's really basically just a 2-year extension, and all of that, and he's got the numbers right. Say a lot about John, but he usually gets the numbers right.
Well, then last night, more on that at 8:20.
But the conversation that I've had, and it hasn't been much. By the way, I am in Lexington, Kentucky right now. The conversation has been, all right, the money gets him to top 5. I mean, he's right behind Kurt Cignetti and Lane Kiffin, and even with Ryan Day. No, he is right behind. Let's see if I don't have it in front of me. He's right behind Kiffin and Cignetti, and he's Kirby Smart, and he's even with Ryan Day, top 5 and all that. But what the conversation I've been hearing a lot of is he is 20-8 in 2 years at Alabama. 20 wins and 8 losses. And if John and I are going to come clean, John was the first one to tell me. I was on a bus all afternoon and all night last night. John was the first one to tell me, and whenever we both knew, our first thought was, I wonder when and what we'll hear from this guy.
Hey, that's the first person I thought of yesterday.
Me too. Bob from Pike Road checks in on the chat, and he says it is dumbfounding that in April, and DeBoer literally has nowhere to go. He is locked in as our coach until December. Why, under God's green earth, would you give him a pay raise before this season? Wait and see how he does this season. If DeBoer goes 8-4 or 7-5, there will be 2 U-Hauls placed at front doors in December. Both Byrne and DeBoer will be gone. I
think a lot of it, Barry and Bob, has to go with the future of college football. And it certainly looks like to me the future of D1 college football is going to be a 24-team playoff. The more I'm hearing about it, the more I'm reading about it, the more people I'm talking to, that's where it's heading. And you go 8-4 in the SEC, pretty good chance you're going to make the 24-team playoff. Maybe not every year, but probably got a good shot. 9-3, definitely. And that's what all these coaches are looking at now. It's all about you got to make the playoff. I do wonder, Bob, why this was announced at 3:15 yesterday afternoon.
On April 22nd.
3:30, when so many other staff members, it was made public weeks ago. Why did they hold back DeBoer's contract? That I'd like to know. And, Barry, you've heard me say this before. Is anybody knocking his door down? Is the phone ringing off the hook? Well, Allegedly, Michigan and Penn State were very interested in Kalen DeBoer. I guess Greg Byrne doesn't want anybody fishing for him in the years to come and has confidence that this is the right guy. And I'll add this because I know it's coming. Who would you rather have? Who would you rather have coaching Alabama football that you could get right now?
So I don't know. I'm asking, is this timeline plausible that last year Michigan, and goodness knows Michigan has deep pockets, Michigan comes courting DeBoer before they hire Kyle Whittingham, and DeBoer is not interested, never was interested, never talked with anybody because Greg Byrne says, Katie, just hang on, ma'am. Just hang on. We'll take care of you. We can't take care of you now, but first chance we get, we're going to make sure that you are happy here at the University of Alabama so this kind of thing doesn't happen every offseason. And when they finally have the opportunity, they sneak it in as a rider at the bottom of the Board of Trustees agenda for yesterday. Does that make sense? This whole thing was maybe agreed upon in principle back in the offseason as Michigan was courting him heavily?
Allegedly there were some talks about this in December, okay. I'm told. Now, right. Talking and getting it on paper and getting all the legalese out of the way, I can't, maybe it took till April, but there again, the other people that got raises and extensions, it was announced weeks ago. Kalen DeBoer's was announced 15 minutes before it actually became official. I find a little suspicious. I'm just curious about it.
I am too. I did not think about it in that context, which is what I depend on John on this program for.
I don't know, Barry, if they thought maybe the backlash would be, they don't want to hear it for 3 weeks. I don't know. But there again, I know the game they're playing. This is big boy football, and there's a lot of money at stake. And coaches have got these athletic directors over a barrel, and they know it. And this is the going rate. And if you're a big boy, that's what you got to pay them. Now, obviously, they have a lot of faith in Kalen DeBoer because there again, if he goes 3-9 this year, are they going to fire him and pay him $67.5 million to get rid of him? I doubt it. I think they're going to have to grin and bear it for a couple of years as that buyout gets down even lower. Now, if he does something that makes the program look bad off the field, whatever, they won't be on the hook for that. But if they just fire him because of wins and losses, that's a big number to swallow, even though it's paid out over time. I mean, it's not just one lump sum.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still a big number. So that leads me to believe they have confidence in what he's doing. And, of course, Barry, probably the most important person on his staff that got an extension and a raise is Courtney Morgan, who's the general manager, who's gone from $850,000 a year to $1.2 million.
Ooh.
Probably should be paying him a little more. He's the guy that brings the players to town.
The other thing I think about in terms of important people is actually celebrating a birthday tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Tomorrow, he'll be 19 years old. He is a 6'3" quarterback from Duncanville High School. Boy, does he need Keelan Russell to be good this year. And I mean good, like not program changing, but not, or even program altering, but program level good. Boy, if Keelan Russell is a big dud and Austin Mack is just a placeholder and stuff, that would be difficult because I don't see a ton of other super special players, especially offensively, to justify all of this. I wonder about the timing. I didn't think about it in John's context. Why wait until the last possible minute to announce it if that was even in the hopper? And in a broader sense, from some of the fans out there, you're making him one of the top 5 highest paid coaches in the country at 20-8 this past year, averaging 4 losses a year at Alabama.
How about this one, Barry?
Yeah, and
Bob,
when I say he might be a dud, yeah, we ain't talking about our buddy Dudley Lockley. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with being a dud. Being a dud's one of our favorite things that
Love
you
that
are.
guy.
So, yeah,
great young man.
Yeah.
Here's one that Bob might have overlooked. I think he threw out some numbers earlier today. Maybe you did. There's been a lot of numbers. Well, here's one right here: 20-8 with elite talent. Cupboard wasn't bare. It was loaded. He lost 4 games both years, embarrassed in 3 games, not up to par with Bama. Plain and simple, it isn't good enough. Well, Bob, how about this one? Just to throw it out there. Since 1974, Alabama has lost 15 games by 20 points or more. Kalen Moore has 4 of those 15.
Until Kalen DeBoer, in whatever it is, 52 years, Alabama had lost 11 games in blowouts. They'd been blown out 11 times. Man, we've seen teams that get blown out 11 times in a year.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay.
4 of those 15 were under Kalen DeBoer.
All right. So that's the question. That's been the question.
Yep.
That's the dominant question. Why reward him? Why lock him down when he's 20-8 in 2 seasons? John said some of it has to do with an upcoming change in the playoff structure.
I think that
we'll get into that a little bit more.
And but I just think there again, I asked the question. I'm waiting, here on the River Region Straw chat line, Longshore McKnight at gmail.com. Who would you rather have? You can't get Lane Kiffin. He's locked down right now. You can't get Steve Sarkisian. He's locked down right now. Kirby Smart is not coming back to Tuscaloosa under any circumstance. That ain't happening.
Mario Cristobal, Signetti at 63, soon to be 64 years old, and Lanning. I think that's the operative question to ask. Okay, if you don't lock him down, who are you angling for next?
Yeah,
it
and
is
there
not
again, do you
an
want
obvious choice.
Do you want somebody else swooping in and taking him like Penn State and Michigan allegedly wanted to do last fall? I think you want to lock him down. Recruiting, stability. Now it's up to him to win. Rodney Orr will join us at the top of the hour. Believe me, we'll be talking with Rodney a lot about this subject as well. I got the sense it kind of caught Rodney a little off guard as well. He texted me yesterday afternoon. Actually, Rodney's the one that tipped me off to it. I went, what? Wait a minute, Rodney. They ain't even taken the tubes out of my arm yet. And DeBoer, what? What is this? No way. Got to be dreaming.
Water, man. We are underway. John is in the home studio. I am in Lexington, Kentucky. Jason Caldwell joins us at the bottom of the hour to talk Auburn. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a fourth location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best-looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw. Okay, about 20 minutes past the hour today. Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover in about 10 minutes. Hey, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. You'll get instant notifications of everything that's up there with Longshore and McKnight. There's a lot of stuff posted throughout the day. Some clips, the Phantom's daily dog selection, a lot of good stuff like that. You won't miss out, and we really appreciate it. You can check us out at yellowhammernews.com, on the yellowhammernews.com Facebook page. You can also check us out on our Facebook page, YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify, iTunes. Just go to the search bar, type in Longshore and McKnight. We'll pop up. And it'll be part of your daily routine. It'll notify you, hey, make sure you tune in. They're on right now. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hey, good news for the Troy Trojans, Barry.
Yeah, big shout out to Troy softball.
Yeah.
In front of a record crowd last night at the Troy softball complex. Troy shuts out Auburn softball. 2-0. Final score. Troy's first win over Auburn since 2012. And shut them out.
Barry, I want to give credit where credit is due. That came from the River Region Straw VIP text line.
Did they not? Were they the ones who texted you yesterday about Alabama baseball losing to UAB at home?
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't repeat what they said.
Bleeping UAB, or we bleeping lost to UAB? Or
no, it was why in the bleep are we playing UAB?
Yeah, so big shout out to the Troy Trojans. Again, I am in Lexington, Kentucky, on the way to Huntington, West Virginia, where tomorrow Troy baseball will play against Marshall. The Alabama baseball team, they played on Tuesday and lost to UAB. And I guess yesterday they were en route to Knoxville, Tennessee, where Alabama plays the Tennessee Vols, who are without Tony Vitello, who the head coach is now the manager of the San Francisco Giants, and they're not even ranked this year.
How are the Giants doing, by the way? I was curious.
Not good. They're not horrendous, but they're not good. And there's an article 2 days ago, I think it was yahoosports.com, about Vitello. I think that, he lost something like 38 games in 3 years at Tennessee. Yeah. Well, he's already lost 14 games in the first 22 games in the major leagues, and they're talking about how difficult it is, and that's not bad. That's not terrible, but how difficult it is to get used to all of the losing in the major leagues, because you play 162 games. Even the best team in history lost 40-something games in a year. That's one of the things John said years ago about it. He says, how do they handle all the losing? I mean, you lose a game and you're like, no big deal. We'll get them again tomorrow. John isn't about that.
I don't have that mentality. We're out to win every day. If I'm putting the spikes on, I'm coming out here to win.
So it's a difficulty for John. It's definitely a difficulty for Tony Vitello. They play tonight, one of 2 games in the SEC. The other one is Arkansas and Missouri.
we've got an NBA triple header, so I'm not sure I'm going to be watching much SEC baseball tonight.
And you're going to miss
that later.
A battle of top 15 teams at Plainsman Park. Number 9, Auburn, is hosting Oklahoma, number 13 in the country. That is tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at Plainsman Park. First of a 3-game series there.
Barry, I just once again today reflect and think back. How would Phillip have pinned the Auburn loss to Troy last night?
He would have been the one to pin it, to write about it. Yep.
Man.
Yep.
It's tough.
And it's not like they didn't have chances. I mean, they get shut out by Troy, who's pretty dang good, and they left something like 12 base runners on or something. They left the bases loaded in the first. They had opportunities, couldn't come up with a big hit. Big shout out to Ella Cunningham, who 6 innings of scoreless ball out of the bullpen. So there you go.
Where's the Troy softball field across the street from the baseball field?
No, it's down. It's over there near the golf facility. Over there. Have you played that track, the old 9-hole facility?
Well, when it was 9 holes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where it is. It's not 9 holes anymore.
Down there for the Olympics in May. I'm going to make a point to go by and look. I think I know where it is.
It's nice.
Yeah, I'm going to go by and take a look at it.
It is down there. It is really nice.
But once again, just to give him credit, because I saw it earlier today, John from Wetumpka, I guess the Braves won again last night.
Yeah, John from Wetumpka also says Auburn softball is terrible. Clint Myers might have demonstrated questionable character, but he was good, You
know, John, if you're winning, sometimes you can overlook that type stuff.
That's exactly right. But again,
was he the one that was having an affair with the third baseman? Was it when they're? Oh, that was.
I can't say. Well, he was an assistant coach. I'm not sure exactly, to be honest with you, who it was. I rememred it at the time, but is it the third baseman? Is it the short? I don't know, but it's something like that. Bob from Pike Road, unlike John yesterday, is thoroughly caffeinated.
Yeah.
When you realize you have a man working for you who isn't getting the job done, DeBoer, you fire his whole body, really. You fire all of it, not just his derriere. You don't accept mediocrity, plain and simple. You go find a winner. It is a loser mentality, plain and simple, to say, we can't fire DeBoer because we don't know who we will hire. Go find a great coach who's a winner. Accepting losing is not allowed at the capstone.
So get this.
I don't know if I agree with that, Bob.
I don't want to speak for Bob, but is Bob thinking Alabama should go LSU and just break the bank and say it don't matter? Well, what do you want? I mean, they should just go give Kiffin an offer. What do you want? If LSU can do it, we can do it too. We'll pay you whatever you want. $40 million NIL. Oh, you want a new basketball coach too? Yeah, we'll go get him too if you want. I just don't think that's realistic. I think this is your guy. I just think the timing of the extension and raise was a little interesting. I really don't have a problem with it because I know this is how you do business in college football. You got to have some stability. They're portraying the stability. DeBoer's not going anywhere, giving his right-hand man, Courtney Morgan, more money in an extension. He's the guy that brings the talent in. You want things to be stable, solid ground. Now, granted, he's got to go win, but, there again, he's beaten Auburn. He's beaten Tennessee. He's beaten LSU. He's beaten Georgia. Yeah, he's had some pretty embarrassing losses as well. I mentioned 4 games of losing by 20 or more points. It's only been happened 15 times since 1974. But got to the college football playoff, got to the SEC championship game. I know it isn't Saban's standard, and I think that's what people have got to understand. There will never be another Nick Saban, and there never will be a college atmosphere like the one Saban coached in for 17 years, where you can stockpile 3 and 4 deep talent, 5-star talent, got more talent than you know what to do with. Doesn't matter if the first teamer gets hurt because the second team guy's just as good. Those days are over.
I was thinking about that. The standard and all that. The standard can't be Saban. That can't be. That was above standard, especially now and then. You cannot measure anybody you get against Saban because Those days are over. You don't have to sell your body. And that was the police with.
I mean, look at how many
You
programs.
that's not going to happen again. I agree
Even
with
under-
John on that.
Even under the Saban era, Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. I'm sure I could name more that struggled during that period at some point in time. Alabama struggled 1 year. The first year Saban was there. And I don't think people even remember that. Maybe the 2010 season
Oh,
when they
I
lost
do.
3 games. South Carolina beat them. But
By 17, yes. I remember that.
I think all these programs had bumps. Alabama was lucky enough not to. That's very unordinary, unusual.
Well, going to get a link to Jason Caldwell. I will work on that. He'll join us in just a moment from AuburnUndercover.com. We'll throw that to you, and we've got a lot to talk about with Auburn athletics. Jason Caldwell coming up in a moment. It's Longshore and McKnight. I am in Lexington, Kentucky. John is at his home studio. Auburn conversation coming up in a moment. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Hey, folks, how often do you think about your roof? Probably not often at all. I know I didn't until I needed a roof replacement. And I call my friends at Roof Life. Whether it's roof inspections, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, Roof Life is there for you. They use the highest quality products, top quality craftsmanship, and if you're like me, your roof can be replaced in one day. So if you're in need of a roof inspection, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, get in touch with my friends at Roof Life today. You can go to roofyourlife.com. That's roofyourlife.com, or dial them up locally at 334-306-6712. That's 334-306-6712. Okay, we're back at it here about 27 minutes to the top of the hour on a Thursday. That means our man Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, hopping on with us as he does. We certainly appreciate it. Jason, hope you're doing well today.
I'm good, guys. How about y'all?
Doing really well. We'll start off with a postmortem on the Auburn 8-day game on Saturday. What were the major storylines going in, and how well did those did the performances fulfill some of those storylines, Jason?
Yeah, you know how it is. It's a spring game that all you do is go in and go athletically who looked the part, because you're not really going to see a whole lot. And and I think probably the big takeaway for me was I thought the offensive line was pretty solid. You never really know how much each side's doing, so it's hard to take away a ton. But thought they looked pretty good for the most part. And then a couple of young receivers I thought really stood out. and you look at Sean Spencer, a kid that we've seen a bunch from Saraland, was really good. Duke Smith there from Southside Selma was good. So I thought those guys stood out. Opportunistic defense. And it's one of those where, I've been doing this long enough to remember Cam Newton's spring game and Nick Marshall's spring games where you go, you two-hand touch those guys, and even they didn't two-hand touch Saturday. They basically, within 5 yards, they were blowing the whistle. And it just changes everything about an offense for them. And so hard to take away a ton, but I thought Tristan Tia throws it really well. I've been talking about him for a couple of weeks, and he didn't disappoint on Saturday. So all in all, probably the best news of the day is you got out of it with looks like no injuries out of that day. And so that's probably the best news you could have from Saturday.
It's pretty well documented. I don't watch a lot of spring football games, but I have seen some highlight clips. Actually, we played them on CBS 8 last night. And I've never seen a quarterback with a GoPro camera on the top of his helmet, which I did see with the Auburn quarterbacks on the scrimmage on Saturday. That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, they did it throughout the spring. So I think every day. So basically, it gives the coaches and the players an idea of, hey, what are you looking at when you're making those throws? And so it's pointed directly where they're looking. So you get an idea of decision making. And I think that's of all the things that happen for a quarterback, decision making is still number one. Because if Tom Brady wasn't the most talented, athletic, strong arm guy, but he made great decisions. And I think about Joe Montana and look, there's on and on and on. That's still the most important part of this game. And so I think they were really conscious of trying to, make sure the decision making is good. Was it always good this spring? No, because they got challenged by this defense. But yeah, that's something they did, and put those GoPros on, and I'm sure they can go back and now watch. Okay, are you locking in on guys? Or what, those kind of things. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty smart move.
Put a context on this for us if you can. Unofficially, everything was unofficial. 158 rushing yards. Jeremiah Cobb, Nakai Davenport both had decent days, and that's 158 yards without Byron Brown being able to run, being touched, being blown dead. Well, that's a good thing, right? I mean, is that applicable to the season? Jason?
Yeah, I think they're going to run the football. I do. I think that's what they want to do. When you think about tempo, and you mentioned, Byron Brown's the guy that probably in a normal game Saturday, without the whistle being blown, probably has 100+ yards rushing. At least one touchdown for sure. And so you add that into this offense, and all of a sudden they're blowing it dead on a play in his 3rd and 7 when he probably gets 15 yards running in his 1st and 10, and it changes everything about what you're doing on offense. Yeah. So I think they're going to run the football. I mean, Alex Goller said from the get-go, look, we want to be able to run the football. I think that's a goal for them, and I think it's probably what this offensive line will do the best. Joe Simmons is a guy that I thought he looked good at tackle. Ty Buster, those are two big guys that could potentially be the tackles. And then you got some more size inside with a guy like Derek Plaz. And so I think they want to run the football. I think I think Byron Brown's going to be a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a quarterback, and most of them aren't. I don't think he's made to go back there and throw it 50 times. But I don't think most college quarterbacks are either. Teams that can run the football normally are better. And look, hey, we saw it with Alabama last year. I mean, Ty Simpson's a guy that they still think is a top first-round quarterback. When they didn't run the football, he wasn't very good. And so I think that's going to be the case for Auburn this year. I think they want to run it because they know that's what you have to do.
Yeah, no doubt. Got to run the ball. And it looks like that certainly is an area of strength, emphasis, I would say. Yes. I would think that there's certainly a lot of talent there in the running back room to make that effective in the fall. Jason, after seeing limited practices and then being able to see the 8A game in full, has your opinion about this team changed as we head to the fall and what they might be able to do?
No, not really. I still think they're probably a team that could. I think they'll be improved over last year. Now, how many wins does that translate to? I don't know, because the problem is I don't know what anybody else has either. That's the world we live in now. It's like I don't know how good other teams are going to be. Alabama and Georgia will be talented. I don't think they're as talented as they were 10 years ago. They didn't look that way to me last year. So I think, look, Can you go out and play solid football, avoid mistakes, do those things, and then you better be able to run the football. And I think this defense is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And so you do that, and you give yourself a chance to win. And look, they had those opportunities last year. They just couldn't make them happen. Can you reverse that this year and all of a sudden win those games you have a chance to win? That's the difference in it. And look, I think in this whole league, no matter what sport it is, the team that finds a way to win those couple of games are the teams that it ends up being 9-3 instead of 5-7. I mean, that's the way this thing goes.
I'm going to ask you this, and it may not be appropriate, because you cover Auburn and do a great job at it and are locked in at Auburn. John said earlier today that he kind of gets why Alabama gives Kalen DeBoer the huge contract and the contract extension because of the day and age and the market and the climate for college head coaches. Do you get that, Jason?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that I get that much. I can maybe understand extending. I don't know that I'm understanding adding in $2 more million to it. And that, I know when it was done to try to keep him from going somewhere else, but it's also, we didn't, none of us are immune to hearing things. I heard a lot of Alabama folks, and there was a lot of media folks that were going, "Hey, is he the right guy for the job?" Well, now he's the guy for the job because there ain't no options now. Yeah. He's your guy that's locked in. So, I think from one perspective, I'm like, yeah, that's what you have to do. But another perspective is, listen, is that going to stop them from making a move if he goes 5-7 2 years? No. So in reality, it doesn't matter because it's not going to stop him. If he's not the right guy in 2 years, they're going to move on no matter what that contract says. So that's the point in this is like, it's honestly more for, well, here's what we're going to do. But in reality, it doesn't matter because if they figure out in a couple of years he's not getting it done, that contract's not going to be worth the paper it's printed on other than to Kalen DeBoer because he's going to get a lot of money out of it.
Yeah, so is Jimmy Sexton.
That's where all of this boils down to. We know, we know who's the money maker in this deal.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
And one more, and another blanket statement here. I have been, I'm on the road right now with Troy baseball. I've been the voice of Troy athletics for 24 years. And Jason, I don't know of a finer young man that I've ever been associated with in any other sports than Thomas Dowd. Just an absolutely terrific young man. And I've been around 100 of them, and I love them all. But also plays with an edge, relentless rebounder. He wants every rebounder, and the intangibles just got better now that Auburn got his commitment out of the transfer portal. From a basketball sense, Jason, how does that strike you? How do you think that impacts Auburn basketball?
I think it's a huge impact, and you're right. I talked to Thomas maybe an hour or so after the decision went public, and as soon as I got done with the interview, and I'd watched him play in high school a couple of times.
Yeah,
and obviously watched him at Troy some, but after I got off the phone with him, I thought that's the kind of guy you win with, and that's what he reminded. That's what I thought of, and it struck me because I've been saying for the last year or so, I thought Auburn's roster needed Bill Winnington, and you think about those Bulls teams, and you go, who is a guy that does the dirty work? And he's not Bill Winnington, but he's probably closer to Dennis Rodman than he is Bill Winnington. And it's energy, but he's a better scorer. But I think, look, you got to have those guys. You find championship basketball teams, and there's always those guys. Draymond Green's a guy that, like Dennis Rodman, Draymond Green aren't guys you want to get compared to in terms of their attitudes and the things they do. But in terms of helping teams win, those are the types of guys you got to have. And it felt like last year's roster never had a guy that went, hey, you know what? I don't care about mine. I'm going to get the ball back. And I think he's going to play a big part in doing that. So, yeah, I think it's a big deal. And it's a really interesting basketball roster that's being built. But I like the pieces, though, because you go Todd Pettiford and Kevin Overton are scorers. You bring a shooter from South Alabama. You bring a glue guy. You got some big guys. You got another guy that potentially could be a scorer yesterday in Kimball. And so, I think it's a really interesting mix of pieces. And honestly, you look at teams that have won and you have a couple of elite guys in Michigan, and you have some other guys that help out think about Indiana and football, but to me, it almost feels more like UConn this past year, where you go, and they got a couple of guys. You went, those guys are good players. I wasn't blown away by UConn in terms of just, hey, they got 15 NBA guys? No, but they played hard and they were tough to beat. And that kind of feels like that's what Stephen Pearl's assembling with this team.
What's at stake this weekend, starting tomorrow at Plainsman Park, a battle between two top 15 teams after Auburn looks strong in the midweek up in Hoover? What are the keynotes of that baseball series?
Yeah, no, it's just part of the finish for this team. And you go, man, what can you do to win a couple of games at home? That's the key, obviously, right now, because listen, Auburn's got 4 series and 2 non-conference games left. And your 4 series are, top 10 Oklahoma, top 10 Georgia, top 10 Texas A&M. Like it doesn't matter. And then Mississippi State, who's top 15 and who's as hard to beat as anybody, you got to go on the road there. And then your 2 non-conference games are UAB, who just blasted Alabama and Tuscaloosa, and Jacksonville State, who's already blasted you one time. Probably 2 tournament teams at this point. So
yes,
you got 14 games left. 12 of them are going to be against top 15 teams, and the other 2 against probably tournament teams. So there's not a bump in the road or a break in the action for this team. So you got to take care of business at home, and you win 2 this weekend. You're 12-9 going into the last 3, and you go, okay, you're one step closer to doing what you want to do, which is at least to try to get a home regional at Plainsman Park to start this thing.
Jason, we've been talking about it this week. To me, it looks like this is where we're headed. 24 teams in a playoff. Your thoughts?
I think if that happens, I think there's a couple of things that have to happen or are going to happen. I think bowl games are going to be done. I don't think you can, unless you use those as part of those. And I hope this thing starts to where the entire first rounds on at least on campuses. Right. I would prefer not to have buys. I'd just rather have a number that is divisible, where it's either 16 or 32. To where you can have a tournament that gets down to 1 team without buys. Everybody should play, but you get to play at home. That's why. That's how you earn a seed, is you're playing at home. But I don't know. I always go back to it. I know most people don't, but I wish eventually that there would be a group of 5 tournament and play for a national championship and sell that to Fox. If ESPN has all on one side, let them sell it. I would watch it. I think it would be a moneymaker for those programs. And I think it would help to maybe clear up a lot. I don't think it'll happen, but I don't like the 24 number. I think we're going to expand, but I think 16 is enough. And I think if you want to keep adding, then go to 32, but I don't like it in between.
Jason, I like the group of 5 as well. We've talked about that before. I think that would be great for them too. I'd love to see it. I think there'd be a lot more attention focused on group of 5 schools. So I'm with you there. I did hear one account that the first 2 rounds would be played on campus, which I think is a great idea, because I love the aspect of playing on campus. I know these cities around the country love to bid on this stuff, and if there's money to be made, we all know these schools will flock there to go play. But I'd like to see on campus. I like that a lot. And then I'm hearing more and more about conference championship games. Done. Over.
I think they're done. I don't know what purpose they serve for the Power 4 groups. Yeah, I think it's still very viable but like for the SEC, I don't. If you're going to have 24 teams in a playoff, both teams are going to be playing in your championship game. Are already in the playoffs. There's nothing to be done except harm in those games, and I think coaches are going to see that. Look, you may see people just go, "Well, I'm not playing my guys in that game."
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. And that's then when that starts happening, then you're going to see people going, "Well, I'm pulling the plug on that money." Right. I think that's what's going to happen. Because listen, if you're Auburn and somehow you're this year and you go, man, you're 10-2. You've had to go through a rugged schedule. You're going to be in the playoffs no matter what. And you're going to play an SEC championship game. Why would you risk playing Byron Brown in a game that means nothing for him to get hurt? Obviously, it's an SEC championship. Mm-hmm. But in the grand scheme of things, who remembers that nowadays? Not many people. Nowadays,
I didn't-
it's all about playoffs. And did you win a national championship? Like, I mean,
Gary, did you ever think we'd hear load management in college football? I thought that was
I don't
just
wanna
an
hear
NBA term.
no,
I don't want to
listen,
hear it.
Hey, it's going to happen because that's what when you start having games that don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we see it in the NFL, don't we?
Oh yeah.
100%
Yeah.
we do. And it's
Yes,
because
we do.
playoffs are set. We can't change our seed at all. Why am I playing my guy?
Well, Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com. I thought maybe we'd hear from you today down at Seaside, SEC golf tournament going on, but you got people covering that.
Yeah.
You got people covering everything.
Yeah, Christian is on site there. He is there walking with the team and doing some inside look at kind of preparations for how you do those things. So he's there. We got basketball portal, still maybe a couple of guys to be added there. Football recruiting, baseball this weekend, and I got the Blue Angels flying over Auburn here in like 40 minutes.
Wow.
I'm gonna go see if I can find a spot to go take a couple of pictures. So heading out to go see if I can find a locale to go check them out. So
All of the coverage, all the information available at AuburnUndercover.com. Jason, you can see on the scroll underneath at the bottom of the screen on social media at ITAT Jason. Always great value when we visit with you, Jason. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. Always good. Appreciate that. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover. Hey, Barry, how about SEC Media Days at Sea Island? I wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean, if the golf team can, if the golf championships can be over there, why can't the media days be over there? Now, I got to tell you, it's ultra luxe over there.
I will tell you.
You cross that bridge,
why.
snooty factor jumps up a lot. But
No
hey, I'm
doubt.
in.
We would see John blowing in on this program. I mean, we'd be playing the countdown 15 seconds. John would come stumbling in, and there ain't no running over after 9 o'clock. I mean, there'd be, tea time, got to go. See you. The problem with having SEC Media Days at Seaside is you'd never see John.
Yeah, probably not. Or New Orleans either if we had it there.
Where's Longshore? I don't know.
You got to dress the part at Sea Island. You got to go the white bucks, a nice spring pastel trouser or short.
Seersucker.
Yeah, you got to dress the part over there. But it's a beautiful place. I'll give them that. It's a little out of my financial. I can't handle it financially, but it's when people have invited me there, I certainly have taken up the opportunity. It's a great spot. All right, one other thing.
Yes.
Before we go to break, if we go to 24 teams, as Jason mentioned, you think that ends the bowl games?
I don't know if it ends them all. I do think it ends the conference championship games. I do agree with that. That's the big sticking point for Greg Sankey. I do think there would still be some bowl games, and I mean bowl games away from the framework of the playoff itself. I don't think the first rounds would be at bowl games. They could. It's not, absolutely exclusive. But I do think they need to be on campus. If you don't have buys,
I hope
you need to give
that.
the higher ranking teams some sort of a bone to throw.
I hope they're not just saying, hey, the first 2 rounds are on campus and then pull the rug out from under us, because I'd really like to see that. I get it. Big city, the big stage, playing in a big venue, make it kind of Super Bowl-esque. I get it. But keep the first 2 rounds on campus. I think that would be huge, not only for those campuses, but college football. That's what it's all about. And even in the NFL, the AFC and NFC championship games are on the home teams in their stadium. I think it's great. It's a great weekend in the NFL. The Super Bowl is just a Hollywood production. But I'd like to see that. But I get it. I mean, I think the bowl game, it's going to hurt bowl game. I mean, you take some of the Ohio State, Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Tennessee, whoever. You didn't make the 2014 playoff, and we want you to come play in the Outback Bowl in Tampa on New Year's Eve. We're not feeling it. Don't think so. I get it. Why do you want to go down there? Didn't make the playoff. So what? Big deal. Maybe a little harsh, but
I don't think that's
reality.
I don't think that's wrong. Lots to get to today. Real quick, hey, John opened up the program talking about his proctosigmoidoscopy or something like that.
Colonoscopy. Went well, Barry. All the results were great. Doc said
Good.
everything looked good.
That is good. And that's
said she'd
relatively
come back
speaking.
in 3 years. I said, okay, Doc, see you in 3 years.
Everything
I will
looks
say this,
good.
Barry,
That's
when they
relative.
gave me, they go, okay, you're going to fall asleep in just a minute. Every time. No, I'm not. I'm not going to fall asleep. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to see how long it takes me to stay awake. I go 10, 9, 8.
Can you imagine? Because I mean, you know, if you're a gentleman of our age, you better be getting this done. You better be. That's no kidding around. But can you imagine? This is John's consciousness yesterday. 10, 9, 8. Kalen DeBoer just signed a 7-year contract at 11 points. John's like, hang on, what about 3, 2, 1? What?
Yeah, what happened here? Yeah, I mean, I looked at that, and my
I'm
first
out for the hour, and this happens. Come on,
in Goldfinger, when Sean Connery said, "I must be dreaming," that's what I said to myself. And I looked at my phone. I said, "I'm still under. There's no way I'm conscious."
The reaction he had on Goldfinger is the reaction John had on Jellyfinger. It's got to be kind of weird, but there's other stuff out there. We'll be talking about that more. The NFL draft is tonight.
That
starts tonight anyway. In Pittsburgh, got to tell you, since John's bringing up colonoscopies, I know some of you feel the same way about this. But the Braves win again. They now have the best record in the National League. Best record
better
in
than
the
the
National
Dodgers?
League. Yep, the Dodgers.
Wait a minute.
The Dodgers. As of right now, Dodgers are 5-5 in their last 10. They haven't been great. Dodgers are 16-8. Braves are 17-8. They played one.
Well, you know, Barry, you know, my first question is going to be, have the Dodgers played as easy a schedule as the Braves have?
It's all relative. You know, you play the schedule. The Giants beat the Dodgers last night, even though Ohtani pitched and was terrific. So there is that. And we're going to delve into this a little bit more.
Okay.
Everything is relative. There are no absolutes out there, really. But the response we're getting from people about DeBoer, what has he done, how does he deserve all of that money? One of the top 3 salaries, one of the top 5 highly paid coaches in the country. And Tobias, he says this in response. Lane, the savior, Kiffin, is making more than DeBoer, and what has he done? John's point about the contract is probably the point to remember more than anything. You know, it's what the market dictates. Is anybody worth whatever it is, $11.75 million a year for teaching young people how to throw and kick a air-filled leather bag? Probably not. But so how do you determine their worth? By what the market is willing to pay, right? So
no doubt.
That's
right. And look, if they get rid of DeBoer, you think they're going to get somebody cheaper than that? I mean, it's still going to cost them $12.5 million a year with a $70 million buyout. I mean, no matter who they get, it's still going to be in that neighborhood. If it's not, people are going to be screaming about that.
And Jason Caldwell's right. I wanted to ask him just in terms of, you know, general public reaction. If he screws around or he messes up or he doesn't win enough, they're going to get rid of him anyway. You know, whatever that buyout is, it don't matter.
Drop in the bucket.
Yeah, there you go.
So what? I remember we were saying the same thing about a $26.5, or was it $26.7 million buyout? People were screaming about it. Drop in the bucket. No big deal. They ain't going to, they won't lose any sleep over that.
Now, when they did that with Malzahn, everybody think Malzahn may have been like a lot more than that. Oh, wringing of hands, gnashing of teeth, clutching of pearls, and the whole deal. So, yeah, Daniel, you are right. I was just looking at the National League standings. Braves actually have the best record in Major League Baseball.
Come on,
not
Daniel.
just the National League.
You got to tell us that. We didn't need to know that.
Time to start getting on.
But of course, you know, the Braves are beating up on tomato cans like the Nationals and these people. I mean, who can't beat them? If that makes you feel good and you're all prideful, oh, look at the Braves. Look at who they play.
When we come back, we'll get the perspective of the Tiger insider himself. Rodney Orr joins us to begin our second live hour of Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a fourth location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best-looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Declaration of Deal sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokee's over 11 grand offers 0% for 5 years. Encompasses 5 grand off only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The Declaration of Deal sales event is on at Stivers. New Ram, 16 grand off for 0% financing. And heavy duties, 13 grand off with Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here. A couple of minutes past the hour on this Thursday. All Longshore and McKnight. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Check us out at yellowhammernews.com, the yellowhammernews.com Facebook page, as well as our Facebook page, YouTube, Spotify, X, iTunes, Instagram. We're all over the place. You can also check us out on Tider Insider. Our interview with Rodney is posted on the Tider Insider homepage. So if you missed it, you can check it out there as well. And as always, Rodney is brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. It's still crawfish season. Get some great crawfish there at Destin Connection, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. The spicy boiled are available. And if you'd like some fresh crawfish to take home and cook yourself, give them a call, 288-4272. They'll be ready for pickup at the Destin Connection.
Good morning, Rodney. How are you?
Man, I am doing well. How are you guys?
Doing really well. Your reaction to the news about the Kalen DeBoer contract extension?
You know, really, I was not expecting that yesterday, to be very frank with you. But at the same time, I was not surprised totally either. I mean, it's something that I had heard, you had heard, we'd all heard. Was certainly a possibility that this could happen. And, it's just kind of seemed like it cropped up there suddenly yesterday, didn't it?
Well, Rodney, you sent me a text yesterday. It's the first I'd heard of it, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. I know there are about 10 to 12 other assistants and staff members that are up for an extension or a raise today at this Board of Trustees meeting. I don't recall Kalen DeBoer's name being on it. It was released at 3:15. They approved it at 3:30. What about the timing of that? Why did they suppress DeBoer's name off from that list until right before they were starting to approve all of these?
Well, I mean, I suppose there could be a lot of reasons, but I think, if you kind of look at it and you listen to some of the theories, it's that I think the timing, had it been earlier, maybe say within a short time after the Indiana game, the reaction would have probably been a complete meltdown. And honestly, the response now has been, there's a split in the fan base, guys. Let's be honest. It's a split. I mean, there's no other way around it. You can read the board, you can spin it positively if you want to. But I think if you look at it objectively, and again, we're talking about looking at the fan reaction. It's a very split fan base right now.
Ooh, we've got one on our message board. He ain't split at all.
Do you kind of understand where they're coming from? If what you're talking about, Rodney, is a group of fans who are saying, "Well, what has he done in 2 years to deserve a contract extension and a raise?" Do you understand their viewpoint?
I do. I mean, I think I can see both sides of it. I mean, in some ways I see, what Greg Gurn is thinking here. He's got a coach in his second year. They won 11 games. They played for the SEC championship. They won a road game, playoff game on the road. I think that's the first road win that a road team has had in the playoffs. They had a lot of success. They made improvement from year one to year two. He's in a difficult situation, and he's got Michigan and Penn State on his tail coming after him. And I don't think there's any doubt that both those programs were highly interested in Kalen DeBoer. And I think Greg Gurn is sitting here going, okay, now I'm going to lose a coach, could lose a team, a lot of players. This is a guy I hired too, so it's kind of my neck's on the line. And I say that, I'm not saying Gurn would be fired or anything, but I mean, I think when you're an athletic director and you hire a coach, it's very important for that coach to be successful, especially the football coach at Alabama. So I think there was probably a lot on Greg Gurn having to make this decision. He was between a rock and a hard place. But I do, Barry, see that people say, okay, we've lost 4 games, and I'm talking about from a fan's perspective.
Right.
Alabama's lost 4 games the last 2 years. I mean, 8 total. And Alabama's been blown out in some of these games. The performance against Florida State to open the season after hearing all this great stuff. Okay, Alabama rebounded, but then they get into the playoffs or to the SEC championship game, and they totally are non-competitive. They look awful in the game. Georgia physically dominated the game. You're within a whisker of losing that Oklahoma game, but you know what? You made a great rally. That game could have gotten out of hand. The next game against Indiana, it's one of the worst, most embarrassing performances in Alabama football history. Let's just be honest. Indiana did to you what Nick Saban did to other teams for 17 years. And I mean, that's just being honest. So from the fans' perspective is Alabama lost games by 2, 3, and 5 touchdowns last year, coming off the 4-loss season from the year before. So there are a lot of concerns among those fans who feel like Alabama should perform better than what they've seen.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They've beaten Auburn, they've beaten Tennessee, they've beaten LSU, they've beaten Georgia, but it's those blowout losses. And I saw this on a Tighter Insider message board. Since 1974, Alabama's lost 15 games by 20 points or more. 4 of those have been under Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's what you just can't have. I mean, losing by a field goal, losing by, a late touch, whatever. It's hard to stomach, but getting blown out by 20 or more, that's unacceptable. Bama fans are not going to be able to stomach that. So I wonder, Rodney, 2 years in, They look over the landscape. They look at the roster. Was it a situation where there were just some players we needed to flush out of the system? I'm still into my colonoscopy thought process, Barry. You got to flush them out of the system, and you got to get guys in there that believe and know and are walking down your path. I mean, maybe that's too simple, but if they just had to get some people out of there and just bring their kind of guys in there, and Burns thinking, okay, you got your guys in place. We feel better about the future. We're going to go ahead and announce that you're getting an extension. And bottom line, Rodney, it ain't like, I mean, he's getting 2 more years put on his contract basically, and he's getting about $750,000 more from what he would have been making on his last year of his previous contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, again, I think you're right about the blowout losses for sure. I mean, I think that certainly has, it's created a ton of concern. I mean, among Alabama fans, the inconsistencies in performance, the wild swings, the highs, the lows, and all of those things. Now, you talk about flushing players out. I know situations are different and all of that, but you almost think that when you come in, you've got to set your tone right away. You can't pitter patter around players. Okay, we don't want to upset this. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. We're trying to save our roster.
Yeah.
Cignetti comes in at Indiana, and he's focused on one thing: putting the best roster together that he can put on the field. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to build this culture, and we're going to do it this way. This is the way we're going to do it. We're not going to worry about somebody's feelings. We're not going to worry about managing this. And that. We're going to focus on what we're going to do. And I think that's been a little bit here. I've just sensed that they've tried to manage things a little bit. They've tried to work around things. And I just think you have to take control of this program at Alabama, and you have to put your mark on it real quick. And, I think that's one thing that, to me, and again, look, Kalen DeBoer is learning what it is to be in the SEC, what it is to be at Alabama. You can't blame him for not having the experience or understanding of it. This is all new. So I think this year, like you said, hopefully he's now built his roster in a way that we start seeing, kind of his vision come through with this team.
One of the things he has done to a high level in relation to the Alabama standard is recruit. That has been top 2, top 3 in the country since he's been there. And that may be the one thing to which, Greg Byrne can point to and say, that's why we need to be patient with him, is the level of recruiting, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, certainly. I mean, he's done an incredible job. I think that's the one area that, frankly, that's the area where people thought he would struggle. And they felt like he was, on the coaching end of it, managing the program, he would, kind of continue on at what we've seen the last 17 years. And that doesn't mean winning on that level. That just means kind of managing the program in that way. So, but no, I mean, I think the recruiting has been exceptional for the most part. And I think, they used the portal this year to bring in several players that I think can be very helpful to this team. So I don't really think, guys, so much it's about talent that they have, the roster that they have. I just think that they've got to, let's just be honest. I think it's a learning curve that they've gone through, and hopefully we'll see a team that is physical and is a tough mental kind of mindset that it takes to, I think, week to week survive that grind. And you saw it. I mean, they won several games in the SEC in that streak. Different things happen. We have to keep those in mind too. Ty Simpson was injured down the stretch. They really didn't have a run game. That's another thing that they've got to They got to employ that. They've got to improve that. So, there's some things, and I think this is going to be a very interesting year to watch.
I'm with you, Rodney, and I agree. I mean, obviously, Kalen DeBoer knows how to coach football. I mean, he's been around. He gets a lot of high praise from a lot of these analysts out there that follow the game each and every moment of the day. So, yeah, I think they realize they got to get more physical. They got to get better offensive line play, much better running game. I get it. We got to see it. Enough to talk. You mentioned recruiting. Barry mentioned recruiting. How big is it that Courtney Morgan gets a bump in pay and an extension? Because to me, he's kind of the guy behind the scenes making a lot of this happen.
Well, I mean, I just think that just tells you right there that Kalen DeBoer, this is my guy. Courtney's my guy. And that's just really what it says. Regardless of what fans, because I think Courtney Morgan came in here initially, and again, this is speaking from what you see in the fandom, and he was really popular. I think now there's some people that really wonder what Courtney Morgan does. And again, I understand the recruiting's been good. I'm talking about there are some things that people are starting to question out there publicly. I think some people were surprised that 2 years ago this time he was making $550,000. Now he's going to make 1.2. Now, I think there's some people that would say, is what he has done justified doubling his salary or his contract? Well, obviously, Kalen DeBoer should know. I mean, he's there. He knows how valuable Courtney Morgan is to his program. So, to me, this is Kalen DeBoer saying he's my guy.
Yes. And, of course, the roster is set. You know who's going to be on the field in 2026. Recruiting right now is geared towards, obviously, 2027. We've got a little lull in the recruiting calendar for about another month or 5 weeks, right, for Alabama football?
Yeah, the big recruiting weekends start on May 29th, and they run through June 19th. And then guess what? We have the Firecracker 5.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yep.
We had to shoot the fireworks early last year because these guys were coming in.
You were. I cannot wait for that. And that just reminded me of something else I wanted to touch on before we let you go. But as we move on, hey, your Central Alabama source for live or spicy boiled crawfish is the Destin Connection Seafood Market right here in Montgomery. They've dropped the price 50 cents per pound on crawfish this week. So call today to place your order for live crawfish to be picked up tomorrow or Saturday. Their spicy boiled are already at the market. Just stop by 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call ahead 288-4272. That's 288-4272 for your order to be picked up at the drive-through window. Maybe kind of overlooked, but probably just as important, Rodney. Nate Oates got a contract extension and a little bump in pay as well.
Sure did. And, I can tell you this, there's not a split about that one. I mean, I think everyone was really excited about that, obviously, and that it got done, and that Preston Murphy, his chief assistant, again, you're talking about a guy who's known for recruiting.
Yep. And
he's got a bump last year to 675, and now he's going up to 905, I think it is. So I think that was extremely well received, with the fan base.
Did you were you in town last weekend while the Morgan Wallen concert was going on? And if you were, what was that like?
Well, Barry, I live just south of town.
Right.
And I stayed south of town.
Yeah. I understand that was probably smart from people I heard that were in and around campus. Yeah.
Well, I had one of my daughters worked it, and then her two daughters and granddaughters were there. Fortunately, they were there, had somebody with them.
Right. Good.
But anyway, that said, sounds like it went great. I mean, I was getting pictures. People were sending me videos and pictures from the concert. I felt like I was there. And I think another topic too, guys, is Nick Saban walking out with Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, somebody opened up the show Monday talking about that.
I mean, how interesting, you know? And they tell me that the stadium erupted when Saban came walking out with Morgan Wallen. And so I don't know exactly how many people were there. You guys may have that. Somebody told me they speculated 80,000.
Well,
yeah, that's kind of what I heard too. My middle child was there, and he said it was just unbelievable. And I got to think, Rodney, you're going to see more of this. I mean, ways to make money, generate income
for the city and for the university.
I don't know if you know how many Morgan Wallen types are out there. I don't know if Kenny Chesney's going to play college stadiums, but I'm sure there's somebody they're already looking at for next year.
John and Barry, let me ask you a question.
All right.
Okay.
So just kind of, not that it really matters, but just thinking back a little bit a few years ago, what would have a world championship boxing fight with Deontay Wilder and whoever it was that was the chief competitor
Tyson
at that time, what would that have brought in?
That would have been it would have had as many opportunities for promotion and the bright lights and the flashing lights and all of the stuff around it as well. I don't know about 80,000, but
no, but you put it in Coleman Coliseum, I bet that place would have been full.
Ain't no doubt about it.
That's another good example.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
have events there because there's only so many events you can have at Bryant-Denny that are going to bring a crowd of that size
to make it worth it.
I mentioned Kenny Chesney, but I'm sure they're looking for somebody, and this going on all over these college campuses around the country. You got to be able to do it. Has Tider Insider, there haven't been any meltdowns? I mean, everything's up and running because I know there's been a lot of conversation going back and forth on the message board. Everything okay?
Well, there's been a lot of chatter about this, obviously. It's been a hot and heavy topic, and I'm sure it will continue to be because, like I said, there's a little bit of a split right now. and you know how that is when they get to going at each other's throats, and that's kind of where we are.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I love TiderInsider.com. You get all of the information, and they've got write-ups about Kalen DeBoer, Nate Oates, Pat Murphy, and their new deals and everything. But if you want to kind of have a thermometer or a barometer for the way Alabama fan reacts to the news of the day involving Alabama, that forum is probably as good a barometer of, hey, how are the Alabama fans taking it? Going to TiderInsider.com in the open forum is a really good way of figuring out exactly what the reaction is throughout the entire Bama fan base. And, you can weigh in on it as well if you're a subscriber. Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. How do they do it? How do they become a part of it all?
Yeah, just go to TiderInsider.com, click on the membership link and join now and sign up. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with a credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check, and that gives you all our premium information. But also, as you mentioned, our all sports forum. It's kind of like the battle royal right now, But yeah, I mean, and then hey, look, there's good times, there's ups and downs, but it's they keep on rolling regardless.
So, Rodney, I mentioned I stumbled upon something that caught my attention earlier this week. Barry, we just might talk about it tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if this is a summer conversation, but the thread started out, since we are talking about old times on TI, and this was from Rodney, and he talks about the D'Amico Ryan story, which he shared with us on the program. He talks about Coach Fran and how he got there. But real interesting that caught my attention was the Rich Rodriguez and Nick Saban story. And as I read that, Rodney, I just started grinning and smiling. And, I've been known to kind of read between the lines, and I picked up all the secret codes that were a part of that. And I really enjoyed that. I just wanted to let you know how much I enjoyed going back in time and looking at some of the other things that have happened with Alabama football. And that one with Rich Rod and Nick Saban, just just brought a big smile to my face, Rodney. And I look forward to talking about it a little bit more in depth later on with you.
Oh, no, I appreciate you mentioning that. And let me just say this real quickly. All of those things, most of those things, almost every one of those things you mentioned, certainly, they're all detailed in my book.
Yep.
Bigger than Bama.
Yep.
And you can go to Amazon.com. You can go to RodneyOrr.com and you can check out my book. All of those stories are detailed there.
Yes.
And I would say this, and real quickly, the Nick Saban story, the greatest story by far I ever covered, had a lot of details there. And also I would say this, while I was covering that, I was dealing with the greatest tragedy in my life, which was a drug addiction, two drug addictions with my wife and my stepson, who had raised since he was really young, 5 years old, and he was in his 20s. But so I had to shuffle between the greatest story and the greatest tragedy there. And I talk about that in my book.
I can speak to that. I purchased the book a while back. I read it and loved it. I've actually reread it again. The great stories like you talk about, really well presented about the Nick Saban stuff, but also extremely well presented about some of the things that life has thrown your way, and the way that you prevailed over it. Bigger than Bama, great add to our segment here with Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Thanks so much, Rodney. Appreciate you.
Hey, guys. Appreciate you. Take care.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Always great stuff there with Rodney Orr. And you're right. Bigger than Bama, you got to read it. It is outstanding. And there again, Barry, I've been known to read between the lines. There was some things in that section about Rich Rod and Saban that just jumped off the page at me. But we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah,
again.
Summer comes up in a couple months, so we'll get that.
It certainly does.
We had somebody was asking about baseball. Dee and I, my wife Dee and I, ate lunch with her cousin yesterday, who was passing through Troy, and he works part-time as a he's a ticket taker. Yeah. He's retired and everything, and he works taking tickets at Bryant Denny and at Sewell Thomas. Loves the interaction and all that. And I'm just saying, the Bama baseball team, they are 2-6 in their last 8 games. Ooh. Got swept at home against Arkansas. They did beat UAB at Regents Park, but then they lose to UAB in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. Time to start stepping it up, boys.
But Barry, that doesn't matter. They swept Auburn. Remember? That's all that matters. Remember, Bama fans are obsessed with beating Auburn. At least I'm told, or somebody in the Auburn athletic department tells me that, or told you that, and you told me.
Now, I don't know that obsessed is the proper word. I don't think obsessed is the proper word either way. But mindful of them, thinking of them, that's probably the tone we're looking for.
I like
when we come back, we are mindful of the hot streak that the Phantom has been on in the Phantom's Daily Dog. Time for an update.
Yeah, it is.
When we return. He's John Longshore in his home studio. I'm Barry McKnight in Lexington, Kentucky. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. The Montgomery Regional Airport is getting better the more you use it. MGM offers multiple nonstop daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Washington's Reagan National Airport. via Delta and American Airlines. And beginning this April, MGM will offer daily nonstop flights to Houston's Intercontinental Airport via United Airlines. All of these cities offer easy connections to destinations all over the country and all over the world. Make travel more cost-effective and less stressful when you utilize your Montgomery Regional Airport. MGM, you can get there from here. All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us. Longshore and McKnight right at the bottom of hour number 2 here on the program. Okay, Barry, this is a box score game we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
We're going to the box score in an NBA game that was played last night between Orlando and Detroit. Orlando had stolen game 1, so to speak, won on the road earlier in the week. Game 2 was coming up. They were a 9.5-point underdog in the game. And Barry, believe it or not, this game was tied at halftime.
What?
Orlando, Detroit tied up at halftime. Yeah.
All I did was look at the final score this morning, being on the road.
These two teams were tied up at 46 apiece. Kind of a low-scoring game, I would think, in the first half. 46 apiece. Then if you look at the box score and see the third quarter, I don't think the Magic came out of the locker room. Detroit outscored them 38-16 in the third
quarter. And that is a harbinger of things to come.
I mean,
actually,
how do you get more than doubled up in one quarter?
Well, I'm looking at the shot chart.
Whoa.
And the Pistons took a lot of shots at the rim. The Magic didn't exactly defend.
I don't know who the head coach of the Magic is. I could sit here all day and not tell you who it was. But if you heard something about a timeout, let's slow the pace down a little bit here. Whoa, wait a minute. A lot going on in this third quarter.
Come on. Okay, so
scored by what, 22 points? Jeez.
But you don't pick a daily dog with a halftime line or with a third quarter line. You pick it with a line for the entire contest. And the Pistons, who were what was the number? 8.5, was it?
9.5.
9.5.
Yep.
Pistons 98, Magic 83 is your final score. Their first home playoff win since 2008.
Said they could win. We don't have a problem with them winning.
Winning's all right, yeah.
But by 9.5, no. And we're tied up at halftime. And there again, I've said it many, many a time. A 20-point lead in the NBA is not safe.
No.
I'm going to tell you. You can start the fourth quarter with a 20-point lead and lose the game outright. Doesn't happen very often, but it does happen more than you'd think. Last night, that was a tough one. All right, so let's move on. That was our first loss of the week, by the way. Just throwing it out there, letting you know. It's funny how I found that out on the chat line early this morning. Hey, how'd the Phantom do? I don't even have to look at the score. I know it's a loss when I see that on the chat line. If I don't see it,
cannot wait.
I'm going, ooh, I think I might have won this today.
We might need to think about moving the Phantom's Daily Dog to the first segment of the first hour, because there are people out there who are hearing blah, 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 DeBoer, blah, 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 colonoscopy. How'd the Phantom do?
Yeah.
I mean, that they live for the Phantom's Daily Dog.
Well, we're trying to provide winners. I can promise you, folks.
Hey, no doubt.
Right.
Endeavoring.
Tonight, Barry, we have got a triple header tonight.
We're going NBA.
Now, I don't really
again?
know how they're doing this, Barry, if they're going dual screen, because we got a game tipping at 6, we got a game tipping at 7, and a game tipping at 8:30, all on Prime Video. Do they have multiple channels?
John, think about it. When you go to Prime Video on your screen, it ain't showing just one thing. Prime Video, you're getting some British comedy. You're getting, maybe a Major League Baseball game. You're looking down. Oh, they got old movies down here. Oh, over there, they've got reruns of Beverly Hillbillies. And you can pick and choose. You'll go to your Prime Video app on your screen, and it'll show you 3 NBA games, and you can click on them at your leisure. Knicks and the Hawks at 6, Cavs and the Raptors at 7, Nuggets and the Timberwolves at 8. It reminds me, about 3 years ago, I told John, look, John, there's streaming is the way everybody's going to go now because of this. You can put as many games as you want to all the time.
Well, let me check you on that. I get it. You can go open up Netflix, Paramount Plus, Prime. There's all these selections. But, Barry, I got 3 games that are all being played at some point in time at the same time. Can I go triple cast tonight? I want to get all 3 games on the screen at one time. If Prime doesn't offer that, that bugs me. I got to do a lot of clicking and spinning and searching. I want all 3 on the screen at once.
John is a impatient consumer. Back in the day, whenever there was a pizza delivery company that promised you your pizza hot and fresh in 30 minutes or it's on us.
I was timing.
John had the stopwatch. 29:54. 29. Come on, baby. 20. He's in the front. He's in the driveway, but he's not about it. Yeah. John would show him the stopwatch. I mean, John is a needy consumer. That's why whenever you hear us talk about the sponsors that we have, John has been a customer. For instance, tonight, the NFL draft presented by Bud Light. Now, we have had a lot of people who have partaken of a pretty good bit of the sponsored product there. We feel strongly about it.
That's right.
Same
we
thing.
Appreciate that.
John is a needy customer. Honey, can you get me another one? That kind of a thing. Same thing with his television consumption.
Yeah.
You better get it right to him. Otherwise, you're going to hear about it on Longshore and McKnight. All right, so what do we got?
Yeah. Maybe I can go quad box, Barry, and go NFL draft and the 3 NBA games. All right,
that's got to be a thing. That's got to be something that they're either working on or that they already provide for consumers like John.
All right, so tonight, Barry, as we mentioned, there are 3 games in the NBA, but we're taking the middle game. We're taking the sandwich game, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers north of the border taking on the Raptors of Toronto. These teams only finished right behind each other in the final standings in the Eastern Conference.
The setup is this pretty much is a must-win game for the Raptors. In the best of 7, if the Raptors don't win, they're down 3-0 and they're cooked.
And they're at home.
Yeah, they are at home.
And, it'd be good if they won. Okay, I'll take that. But they're catching 3.5 at home. And we're going to take that 3.5 in a kind of a must-win type of game. I get it. We're going to take those points at home in a game that, they need to show out tonight. And if they fall flat, so be it. We don't think that's going to happen. We're going to grab the 3.5 north of the border, taking Toronto at home plus the points, hosting Cleveland. That is your Phantoms daily dog today.
I like that.
So when we come back before the Gurn Junior Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to say that for tomorrow. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Yeah,
all
I'm
right.
going to do it because I'm going to need a lot more time to dissect this tomorrow after I bring it up. So I'll do it tomorrow.
Let's take a break. Another segment, then the Gurn Junior Victoryland 777 topic wheel. On the Thursday show, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is Central Alabama's best-known jewelry store. Their location at 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree is conveniently located adjacent to Chappie's Deli. At Marguerite's, they have every jewelry item imaginable because they make it. They really make it. From rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and much, much more. Marguerite's can also repair, clean, and rework any jewelry item that you want to bring back to life. Whether you're on a budget or have no budget at all, Marguerite's has all types of jewelry for everyone. Go by and see them today or call 270-0074.
The Declaration of Deals sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokee's over 11 grand offers 0% for 5 years. Encompasses 5 grand off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The Declaration of Deals sales event is on at Stivers. New Ram, 16 grand off for 0% financing. And heavy duties, 13 grand off with Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 20 minutes to the top of the hour, Longshore McKnight. I will be at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram tomorrow. Come by and see us. Great deals going on during the Declaration of Deals going on. Sales event going on now at Stivers. Barry, where will you be tomorrow?
I will be in Huntington, West Virginia tomorrow, where Troy will open up a 3-game series in Sunbelt play against the Marshall Thundering Herd.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we left yesterday afternoon, got to Lexington. Lexington's only about 2 hours away from Huntington, so fairly easy.
As much time as I've spent in Kentucky, I've never been to Lexington or Louisville. Never been.
I've spent a lot of time in both, as it turns out. Here's this. What do you read out of this? Since we're not going to go to John's big subject, or maybe it is. Maybe I'm jumping the route, and this is what he was going to talk about tomorrow. A tweet yesterday, and he's tweeting a little bit more, from former Auburn offensive coordinator and head football coach Gus Malzahn. He tweeted 17 hours ago a picture of him and Christy, his wife, with a moving van in the back. And he says, move number 18 in 37 years of marriage. They are moving back to Auburn, or they have moved back to Auburn. Auburn and Lake Martin and all that kind of stuff. What is it? And I lived, full disclosure, I lived in Auburn for 25 years. I've been living in Troy for a while now. Tuberville, Chiswick, Hugh Freeze still lives in Auburn. Malzahn, Larry Blakeney moved back to Auburn. I loved living in Auburn. It's a wonderful town. But what is it? I mean, these guys with the buyout.
Yeah, I mean, what is the attraction?
They can afford to live anywhere.
Yeah, family.
It's a great place.
How far, I mean, Auburn to Lake Martin is like, what, 30 minutes?
30 minutes. At most, 30 minutes.
I mean, I've driven by Malzahn's home at Lake Martin multiple times. It is a multi-million-dollar home. It is
nice.
It is beautiful. Personally, I would not have wanted to be where he was because there's a lot of boat traffic coming back in there. I think Bruce Pearl's is a little bit more to my liking, kind of tucked up in a slough a little bit. But hey, to each his own. But why not just live at the lake? I got a lot of my friends that once they became empty nesters, they're at the lake. They live at Lake Martin now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's, Barry, you're asking the wrong person.
What is the attraction of Auburn? Asking you is asking the wrong person?
Yeah. I mean, I've been, I don't know if I've spent the night in Auburn ever. I don't believe I have.
You have never spent the night in Auburn, Alabama for any reason whatsoever.
No, I don't believe I have.
Not even at the hospital or in the.
No, I've been to a lot of football games, been to some basketball games.
Harvey Updike has spent the night in Auburn before. Goodness.
But people that live there, go there, love it.
It's a great town.
I guess people, they go, why would you live in Tuscaloosa? Well, the people that live there and go there love it. Think it's great. And I will say this, I think college towns over the last 25 years have really figured it out. This is an area where people like to be, they like to live. The makeup is more to their liking. Whatever
the
it may be.
There's always things to do. There's concerts and arts. The same thing in Troy, which of course is a smaller town. I've always thought the best place in the world to live is a small southern college town. And, Auburn, if you're retired there, there's a lot of golf courses. You've got a lot of, over at the Arts Museum and, the stuff at the theaters and all that kind of stuff. I know you're getting stuff from the River Region store, executive VIP chat line about tractor pulls and hay rides and all of that.
In all seriousness. I mean,
you've got bluegrass bands that'll crop up on every street corner and all that.
I mean, I did get a text stating all the coaches staying in Auburn because it's convenient to pick up their buyout checks. They don't have to wait for the mail to bring it to them. Okay, I get it. Just drop by the athletic department, pick up your check once a month. That makes sense. But I think there again, the entertainment, you got collegiate sports.
Oh, yeah.
All year long that you can check out. Great restaurants.
I'm telling you, since you bring that up, and it's been a little while since I've done a game of any kind in Auburn. I was in I've been in Tuscaloosa earlier this baseball season, and it struck me then.
Yeah.
Hey, you've got a midweek baseball game, and Troy plays at Georgia on Tuesday in an early afternoon game. I think we start at 4 Eastern on Tuesday in Athens. You look at some of those crowds, John, it's like the dance of the living dead out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody there is retired and 70 and walkers and, all that kind of stuff. And that's to your point. You get there and there's always something to do. There's always something to watch and your buddies are out there and your friends and all that. I do think that's an underrated part of what you're talking about. Yeah.
I think people enjoy it. And there again, I've said it before. I mean, in the 40 years since I was a student in Alabama, the way that town has just been transformed is amazing. I mean, the number of really good restaurants in Tuscaloosa, the other options for entertainment are incredible. Obviously, if you want to watch collegiate sports, they got great venues to do that. I mean, I get it. Yeah. One of my really good friends who grew up here in Montgomery, he lives in Tuscaloosa now.
Oh, yeah.
Loves it.
Believe me.
It's great.
I can tell you this about Auburn, and, I loved living there, a great place to raise a child. And they call it the loveliest village on the plains. It ain't no village anymore. Oh. When you take Auburn and Opelika together, it's no village. It's a little bit larger.
Drive through 85, Barry. There are more exits off 85 going to Auburn, Opelika than there are in Montgomery.
There used to be, 2? College Street and Wire Road. That used to be it. Those used to be your options.
Yeah. What else? Since I'm on that tangent, I got to get somebody with the highway. To me, it just kind of looks cheap, or it makes you look small when you're coming into Montgomery, either northbound or southbound, and there's this interstate sign that says Montgomery, next 6 exits. Take that down. People know it's Montgomery. They know where they're heading. They don't need to know how many exits are here. And if it was like next 26 exits, that would be okay. But the next 6 exits makes you sound like you're small time, a hick town. I mean, there again, Auburn Opelika has more than 6 exits. Heck, the River Chase Galleria's got 3 of their own. I mean, take the damn sign down. It makes your city look small.
Man, billboards, road signs, John is hypersensitive to those. Don't promote your football team on a billboard.
No.
And don't let everybody know how few exits you have off the interstate.
I mean, every time I see that on 65, I go, oh. They don't have it on 85. If you're coming in from Auburn, it doesn't say, hey, Montgomery, next 4 exits. But if they're on 65 for some reason, they got it both ways.
When we come back.
That's been chapping my ass for 20 years, and nobody's done anything about it yet. And you know where it was brought to my attention,
Hang in there, Gurn. I'm trying. We'll get there.
One of my friends from Birmingham that knew it irritated me used to give me hell about it all the time. Hey, I'm coming through Montgomery. What exit should I get off on?
Well, I got to admit, I have been in touch with that emotion before. If there have been times when if there's a subject I knew that irritated John, I would bring that up every once in a while. This one's a new one. I haven't heard this one before. The number of exits shouldn't be notated. Coming back, our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It's Longshore McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Hey, we're back at it. I see the wheel in the green room. Topics, we have no clue what they are about. They're new to us as they are to you. That's what's so fun about the Victoryland 777 topic wheel put together by Gurn Jr.
Certainly, sometimes we get into the topic and we have no idea what it's about. That's why we like Gurn being able to flesh it out. All brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22. Only one exit in Shorter, Alabama. That's it. Exit 22 off I-85 in
Tuskegee, Franklin, and Shorter. So they got two there in Macon County, maybe three.
Yes. Nibbles. This is probably about a cat, but we'll see.
Nibbles. Nibbles and bit.
It is a cat and a goat, best buddies. Goat's chewing her ear. Cat likes it.
Is that a goat or a sheep?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not totally sure. Oh, Jimmy the goat. Thank you.
Yeah, he likes those
the
ears.
Goat. The cat is named Parsnip.
Yep.
The goat is Jimmy. Evidently, they're big buddies. Gurn Jr., he knows what he's doing. People always love a cute pet video.
Yeah.
That starts us off with a little feel good. I don't know that I'd be, if I'm Parsnip, I ain't doing that every day, okay? Because that gets
cleaning those ears out or something. Oh, that sounds kind of gross.
Yeah, stay away.
Ugh. Yeah.
Cut it out. Yeah.
I had a dog that had a yeast infection in his ears. Ugh, smelled terrible.
Now, with that little bit of information, we can move on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Spin away. Look at those
hard
colors.
To take that anywhere else besides.
Yeah, it was horrible. I just put this cream in the dog's ear. It was low.
Is this Auburn football? Is that what Gurn? They're coming. Here we go. Oh,
let's see. Oh, ping pong robot.
Ping pong robot. Well, see, no, that doesn't even count. That doesn't even look like a robot. That's basically a miter saw with.
Well, the robot's up 9-4, about to be 10-4. Look at that shot. Look at that.
How does it know? I mean, you can measure the speed.
Yeah.
You can measure the spin rate.
Ooh, right off the bat. Ooh, look at that. Robot still got it.
Man, it still can reach it. Still can get there. It tracks it and follows it. And there you go. Have you ever seen those robots on like a par 5 tee? Or on a driving range or something? Those things are unfair. I mean, they're hitting it, 450 yards and right down the middle every time, over and over and over again.
I used to love playing ping pong. Get somebody in your shot would just skim the back of the table and it would fall off.
Well, my favorite shot when I was a little kid, my buddy Robert in Palm Bay, Florida, he had a video game console that we hooked into the back of it. You had to screw it in and all that kind of stuff. And you had video ping pong. I'd be, and he'd go,
oh yeah, it was awesome.
And we thought technology, there was no way technology can improve from that point. Now you got an actual computer playing ping pong.
That's right. Yeah.
World moves
I
on.
probably slammed a few ping pong paddles on the table a time or two when I was a kid.
We had one in our screened-in porch at our house on Chase Lane in Palm Bay, Florida.
Love the ping pong table. I could sit there and play ping pong all dadgum day.
I'm with you. I can imagine John was pretty good. I mean, I don't think he played for free.
No.
But I think he was pretty good at it.
You always had to win by 2. You could get there, be 22-21, 23-22. Oh, those were great times. All right. What else we got?
Kings.
The kids
We didn't know
today,
we
they
had
don't
it.
know that. They're
Right.
playing it on a video screen.
We never knew how good we had it when we
really
as
didn't.
kids. All right, here we go. Back at it. 2
All right,
down,
here we
4
go.
to go.
All right.
Gurn
Spin away.
Jr.
Let's see what's next.
researched all of this, even the videos.
Oh, yeah.
So great.
It's going to be
Flightless
Penguins.
birds. Is this the Orioles?
Penguins.
Oh, yeah, the Flyers and the Penguins. They had a big fight in hockey, playoff
Oh, beautiful.
hockey.
Let's
I
see
think this is inside the Pennsylvania state lines. Penguins, Flyers, big fight in the playoffs. 11 guys are in the penalty box.
Oh, great.
11
Love it.
guys.
So how do we did they have enough to get on the ice?
It looks like John's buddies at one of the bachelor parties the night before they got hitched back in the day. Ooh.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Love a
Hey,
good
big fight and everything. I don't know. Do you play 3 on? Oh, they're kicking each other when they're down.
This guy's lost his helmet. Oh,
yeah, probably had it ripped off. That will get John's attention.
I
mean, this is like they're all the Hanson brothers.
Yeah.
And they got a grown Penguins fan who's wearing a Penguins.
Yeah.
Mask on.
I'd probably not do that, but if he wants to.
But then
good
again,
for him.
John's not a wear a jersey to a game kind of a guy either.
Never floated my boat.
All right. That's
All right, who else we got? Yep, we got
Good
some
one.
more. 3 to
Yeah.
go, I believe. 3
Yeah.
more big ones to go here.
Yes, here we go.
And
I guarantee you we'll end up blue and red because we're getting rid of yellow right here. You need him.
You need him.
People are saying Greg Byrne is tied to Kalen DeBoer. Oh, the Thunder. Jalen Williams is one of those glue guys that Jason Caldwell was talking about. You got to have him on your team, not just Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or some of this guys. This guy, injury in the third, game 2. How bad is it? Oh, hamstring.
They can work that out.
Aggravated left hamstring.
Yeah, they can work that out. That ain't a problem. Yeah,
I don't think so. Hamstring's one of those that, it's kind of one of those phantom things. Oh, my hamstring, and you don't really know.
Well, it can be your arm too, Barry. If the ball ricochets off the ball washer, it can. Oh, my arm.
What's that buffoon done now? He's a good player. Missed the entire playoffs last year with a torn scapholunate ligament. Don't you hate those torn scapholunate ligament injuries? I hope he's okay to go.
Yeah.
But it's a hamstring. You never know about a hamstring. A lot of people don't really have all that visible hamstrings. Is that guy even? Anyway, all right. So
what's up? Yep,
2
more
more
to
to
go. Oh, red and blue. Hey, there you have it. Awesome. Red and blue. What's next? What comes up?
Missed it and used the can.
Oh boy.
Sometimes I've had to do that. Man,
man.
Oh, yeah. There's any headline that begins Florida man, you got me. I think this is an older video. Yeah, I've seen this before. Orange County, Florida, which is Orlando.
Yeah.
Got a gator in the front. Watch how he does this. Yeah. Now you got to get it. You got to slide it under the gators. The gator can't backpedal nearly as fast as he can move forward.
Yeah.
So he's saying he can move, picks up the gator. And this is critical. You don't want that ticked off gator to come.
Yeah,
this man has done this before.
Woo!
So okay,
man.
Now what?
Pull your pants up, buddy.
Yeah.
Man.
What do you do now? You can't put it on the side of the road like it's trash or like it's lawn debris. And you don't want to just dump it out of the lake because you know what? That thing's going to be back again in a week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Barry, if you live in an area like that, you got to pretty much know you're going to have some gators pop up from time to time.
I wish I can tell you all the number of gators I saw down at Turkey Creek in Brevard County, Florida, growing up. That was kind of a thing. I don't
know if I want to live near a gator.
Now, they weren't that big, believe me. That does not solve the problem, John. That just kicks the can down the road.
Yeah.
That gator smiling, coming out, saying, I'll be back.
Just, but there again, Barry, you don't want to throw him a piece of chicken, then he'll be coming back.
over and over again.
Yeah, I know.
That's
where
why
I'm
that
getting my
time
next
John
meal.
says, hey, this is years ago now. Hey, we got a stray cat coming to our house. I don't think it's our cat, but it thinks it's our cat. How can you tell when it's your cat? I said, did you feed it? He says, yeah. I said, then it's your cat.
Yeah, it's your cat now.
It considers itself to be your cat when you feed it at all. Bad juju. Here we go. One more.
Seen a lot of alligators lately. I'm a little easy about that. All right.
Missed it. Yeah, Gurn's on
Just
a bit of an alligator tangent lately.
Just missed it.
Sounds like Maxwell Smart on Get Smart. Yankees. Max Fried, 8 innings. They have been pitching it really well. Max Fried should be a Brave. Ooh, don't get me started on him. Fried should be a Brave. So should Freddie Freeman. Boom. Right there. They gave up a first inning homer. They ended up beating the Red Sox 4-1. Otherwise, that would have been their third straight shutout thrown. Yankees pitching is doing real well. But with all of that, with good pitching, with Aaron Judge hitting home runs, they still don't have as good a record overall as the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, they certainly don't. Yeah. And you know that and 50 cents will get you a cup of coffee here on the 23rd of April. Let's revisit this on the 23rd of September when the Braves are like 10 games out of first place. And here
I'll make a note.
All you tomahawk choppers are out there talking about then.
Many thanks to our buddies Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com, Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com, presented by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Tomorrow, I'll be doing the show from Huntington, West Virginia, on the shores of the Ohio River, where I could probably hit a 1-iron and hit it into the state of Ohio. John will be where if he's within shouting distance of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail site in Prattville, Alabama, tomorrow doing the show.
That's right. It's Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. And Barry, we're hoping to get the Moneyline magician Josh Harris on tomorrow. I'd like to get his thoughts.
How
about the Kalen DeBoer contract extension?
Yeah. Who you think he's going to be able to resist that clarion call? All that's coming up. For our producer, Gurn Jr., he's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.